Forest Lawn Museum's upcoming exhibition, Judson Studios, Stained Glass from Gothic to Street Style, features historical stained glass and the work of numerous contemporary artists. Today, we're talking with Shay Bredimus. He has two works of art in the exhibition, one made of fused and stained glass that he created with Judson Studios, and another that relies on an unconventional use of tattoo ink. Titled Ascension of the Spirit, it was inspired by his visit to Forest Lawn's Great Mausoleum in 2019, and it has never before been exhibited.
My name is Shay Bredimus. I'm from Long Beach, California, and the style of art that I create is called brush drawings. It's a mixture of tattoo ink, wax crayon, on architectural drafting film. The first time I used it, it was because I had it and it was available. I tried it, and the way that it stuck to the drafting film was perfect because there's a little bit of tooth to it, and I could roll it up and unroll it and it wouldn't chip away or break as conventional ink like India ink or something like that. I think the glycerin in it, the binding agent, helped it stick to the drafting film, which is also a metaphorical skin, so conceptually they all tie in together. My undergrad was from a conceptual school in Canada called Emily Carr, and my graduate school is in Laguna College of Art and Design, a school primarily focused on the figure. As far as tattooing, at the time and place when I was growing up, it was one of few outlets for expression. So there was graffiti and tattoo. There wasn't necessarily life drawing classes available at that time. Tattooing is supposed to be timeless, right? And timeless art. And a lot of times we borrow images from cemetery sculpture because it's the most timeless, emotive art object there is, right? Also, this black and gray tattooing is monochromatic, which gives reference to marble sculpture is also monochromatic. My work is monochromatic, so it all kind of ties in together. We took a tour of the Great Mausoleum, and I remember descending down into the staircases, and then we saw this architectural element that had an arc on it, and I thought, okay, this is the centerpiece that I want to use for my triptych. And so looking up at the stairs into the arc, that was the ascension for me. Not only literally, but a good narrative for the ascension of the spirit. The actual physical quality of the drafting film and the layers, the atmospheric quality, gives reference to marble, and the fact that it looks like etched glass also gives reference to the surface of the smooth marble, or the porous marble. And so the figures to me are emblematic of the cemetery sculptures that were here at Forest Lawn. The frame gives reference to all the architectural elements of the mausoleum. So I wanted to tie in the architecture with the cemetery sculpture, the angels, and basically the narrative of the ascension of the spirit, life after death, timeless art, something that's going to outlast us all. The frame was made by a company called the Vatican. It's by an artist named Nigel Robertson. And I had the sketch, and I'd worked with Nigel before to make some tabernacle frames, which are, kind of give reference to the mausoleum too. And I told him that I wanted to work on a triptych. And when I first sent him the sketch, he was like, oh, I don't know, I don't think that could be done. But he got back to me later, and he's like, I think we could make this happen. Tim reached out to me from Judson. He had been to one of my shows at Copland, Del Rio, and Culver City, and when I talked to him, he really identified with some of the looser, more gestural figure drawing stuff that I had been doing, and I think he was thinking that we would do something kind of like the Kobe piece, something really loose. And then I showed him the project that I was working on for the Long Beach Museum of Art, and he was like, "Oh, this I think would look really good." So was just very easy because they're, experts. They know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what to do to make this piece look as true to the original drawing as possible. So it was just a very easy collaboration. We both knew exactly what we wanted, and it turned out exactly the way we saw it. Typically, stained glass is very colorful. I was told that this was probably the only monochromatic piece that they had made, and that was strictly black and white and maybe a little few shades of gray, but it has a lot of impact because of how dark it is. I think it really draws the light out. As to maybe something that's more colorful, the light is kind of diffused around all the color, but if it's just coming out from a few points here, it's a little stronger. Stained glass being a metaphor for light coming through a canopy of trees, because that was the original chapel. The original church was outdoors. It was underneath trees. Before we built chapels, that was it. That was how you prayed in nature. Just like you were saying, hey, you're in a show with Frank Lloyd Wright and Albrecht Dürer and a friend of mine, Miles McGregor. Like, this is just a really important show for me, and I'm just honored to be here.